Well, welcome to Hamilton County TV and the Coach Sharpe's Show. Welcome, Coach.
Hey, Perry. Good to see you as always.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Well, another big win on Friday night. Kind of a, I thought back of what you said last week about when we got that bad start against Mount Vernon and everything, and how it seemed like the game took forever.
Yeah.
Well, last Friday night against Terre Haute South, it did literally took forever.
It did, but some of the takeaways now that it's been a few days, it was the coolest atmosphere having, like right before we're ready to do senior night, that weird rainstorm comes with no lightning, and we had 1,000 students in there, student section, just getting drenched on, and it was just like a really cool atmosphere. And you notice that rainbow? It was like from the goal line to the goal line.
We had several of those that night.
Yeah, but it was like from the goal line to the goal line. You're just looking around. It's like this. It was a surreal feeling how cool it was to have full capacity at our home stadium, and then B, to have that weird rainstorm and then that rainbow, and then quick little break, and then coming out and getting out to honoring our seniors. And it's great to see all their parents that could make it and their siblings, and that was a great honor for those kids, and emotional time for those families, seeing their little boy finally grow up and become a senior. And then getting off to a quick hot start, and then bam, we had that lightning delay, and it took forever, just absolutely forever. And for some reason, that little storm just hung over Noblesville and just would not quite move, would it?
No, because the one thing about it, after that first shower, we didn't get much rain. It was just that lightning and thunder pop up, and we get a brief little shower, but it didn't give us enough time.
It's like the vantage point of our stadium. You can see forever to the east, and you could just, 15 miles away, you get a little flash, and it's like, oh, there's another 30-minute delay.
Yeah. But the one good thing about that game against Terre Haute South, even though there were delays, you got off to a good start.
We did.
I know that's one thing that you were very concerned about against Mount Vernon.
We did. Quick drive, a lot of positive plays for a touchdown. Went for two, and then we pick off the second play of the game from them, and then continue to drive. So that was definitely what we were preaching all week, getting off to a hot start. But I think our big crowd and all that noise from student section really gave us a jolt of energy.
And once again, against Terre Haute South, that running game was did very well. I mean, we ran for a lot of yards, and of course Logan had another great game, but so did Rogers Walton and Gomez Sanchez. I mean, both of those guys had pretty good games. In fact, I was looking at the stats from that game. Sofner had a 91-yard run. Rogers Walton had a 47-yard run, and then Gomez Sanchez had a 72-yard run. So.
Yeah. We know the offensive line played well. It's the unit played well, and when the unit plays well, somebody's going to get a big run. And I was glad to see kind of spread the wealth a little bit amongst the run backs. And
once again, your interior line, you used a lot of players.
We did. It's that same rotation, and being senior night, we got big shout out to Jack Scomp. Jack Scomp's one of our seniors that got in there, made an awesome 10-yard run for a touchdown, and then defensively, we got a lot of guys, seniors, making a lot of big plays, especially in that second half.
Yeah, Stomp is one of those things that makes a coach look good. He puts him in that. You put him in on that play, and he runs for a touchdown. So that's pretty good.
He's worked as hard as any of them, and I'm super happy for him.
That was exciting, and
big part of our program. Really like having Jack on the team.
And it's always great senior night when you can play a lot of players, and you played some young players. And
we did, yeah.
And so it was really actually a great evening, even though it was a long evening.
Long evening, but yeah, it's anytime you can get up by a couple touchdowns, you can get some other guys in the game. It's just that's super beneficial for them. Even if we had a few freshmen in the game and quite a few sophomores, and just that's something that they're going to remember. That they're like, I was in on a Friday night, I made a tackle, I ran the ball, and I was blocking people on Friday nights, and that'll be crucial to our off-season development once we get into November, December.
Well, this week starts Hoosier Crossroad Conference. So
here we go. The gauntlet begins. Yeah.
the gauntlet begins. That's exactly the word I was getting ready to use. The gauntlet begins. But you know, that's the reason you came here, okay, to play
Absolutely.
Crossroad Conference and play great competition.
It's the premier, one of the premier leagues in the entire Midwest. Everybody knows that. And as a coach, it is a blast because your Saturdays and Sundays, you are game planning from morning to night, trying to get ready for these teams, and it's a huge challenge. I like to use the term level playing field. I think all 8 schools in the league are essentially the same in terms of enrollment, talent. Now some have great tradition and they've got great programs, and that's why they've kind of been towards the top of the pack the past few years, like Westfield, like Brownsburg, like Avon, and that's where we're trying to get to. We know with kind of a new coaching staff coming in, it's going to take a few years, but we feel like we're getting there, and there's a lot of positive momentum as we try to break through into that top tier of that league.
Yeah, but you know the one thing about it, if you look back at the history, which was, the Hoosier Crossroad Conference, I believe 2004 was the first year, I believe. Mm-hmm. And in fact, Noblesville won the first Hoosier Crossroad Conference. But, Southeastern Fishers were powers for a long time. Mm-hmm. Avon and Brownsburg came along, then came Westfield. And so, it's been passed around.
Absolutely.
And you were so right. I mean, all 8 teams we have in this conference could beat you any night of the week. Okay,
yeah.
So, well, let's talk a little bit about Fishers. They're 2-0. They've played a couple of teams.
2 big wins. Yeah.
So they have 2 big wins. They have a balanced attack, though. I mean,
they really do, and offensively, Coach Funk and his offensive coaching staff, they've given us 30 formations in 2 games. That's a lot. They really want to be creative pre-snap with some motions and again try to make you stay disciplined and see if they can get you to not line up correctly. And if they find a formation they like, they can stay with it. And you're absolutely right. They can run the ball and they can throw the ball. We know that Simmons, 86, gets a ton of the credit and the accolades, which is deserved. But we're really impressed with their quarterback getting off to a good start. He's kind of what's making them tick right now offensively. And then, when they're not throwing it to Big Simmons or to the other fine receivers, they've got some good running backs. And of course, Dunn, we know, is he's a legit running back. He had a great season last year, and he's off to a hot start this year. And they've got some guys that spell for him that are pretty good too. So it's Coach Metzler, our great defensive coordinator, our coaching staff, Coach Sala, and the rest of those guys. They've really put us to the test with all these formations, all these plays that they have. I'm really good friends with one of their offensive coaches, Logan Haston, and I texted him. I was like, "We're running out of lead in our pencil here. We're writing down all these formations and plays that you guys have," and he laughed. But we really look forward to this. We have great respect for Fishers as a program and as a coaching staff, and we hope for a great game.
And the one thing about it is, they're with the 2 wins and everything, and it looks like on the offensive side that the key to it is stopping that big play. I mean,
it is, yeah.
Because they have, in Simmons and Zimmer and the key, their longest runs. Simmons' longest run is 60, Zimmer's 35, and McPeak is 42.
Right.
So
Yeah, and they big played Pike. They had 2 big plays against Pike, and both plays are stoppable, but they're special athletes that they turned them into huge plays, and that's it's easier said than done to say, hey, stop the big play. Well, you got a Jeffrey Simmons on there. That's easier said than done. Tough matchup for everybody. Yep.
And quickness. Well, let's talk about, even though they've done a good job offensively, and they definitely can put some points on the board. Mm-hmm. On the defensive side, they're pretty good because in 2 games they've only given up 7 points.
Yeah, they've been really stingy, and looks like they're kind of switching from a 4-man front to a 3-man front this year, which is a little bit different scheme from them. But who knows how they'll line up against us? What we do notice is that defensive line they have is as quick as anyone will see all season. Not the biggest, but man, they give us a really unique matchup. We love 51 for them. We have so much respect for him. The way that he plays, being undersized, scrappy slanter, and 92 and 94 kind of fit that mold too. So our offensive linemen know that these are guys that they're not going to stay blocked. We might get hands on them, but they will knife underneath us. They'll rip, they'll spin, they'll fight like crazy to get off of a base block. And we know with Coach Judd being there for so many years, having a ton of success, he's going to give us a really good defensive game plan. And we're impressed with all their linebackers too. We really think it's a really good front seven, and be a tough matchup for us. But let's see what happens on Friday night. Our kids are very excited to play, one of our rival schools just a couple minutes down the street. So.
Yeah, and we're, of course, we're back home again.
Yep.
This week, which is a good thing, especially with the crowd we had last week. I was really totally impressed for a couple reasons. Was the question of weather. I mean, we knew going in it may be iffy. Okay.
Yep.
I didn't realize it was going to be that long, but it was a little iffy. But it's excited to play again this week at home before we have to go on the road to Westfield. And the one great thing about the Hoosier Crossroad Conference, you think about it, we're playing Fishers, and they're literally right down the road.
Right.
It takes no time to get there.
Sure.
Okay. Imagine, for them to go to Southeastern in their own school district, it's not much farther to come to our football field in Noblesville, really.
Right. No,
for Fisher, same way next week, Westfield. So. You really don't have to worry about the travel.
We're putting the scouting report together, and it's just, the kids are kind of mentioning, like, oh, yeah, I know that kid. I remember him from this, youth league or whatever. So it is kind of cool that the kids kind of know of each other at least, and I'm sure there's some personal friendships amongst the guys
absolutely.
as well. Yeah.
And I think one of the things, but it is also difficult for a coach, okay? Because you all know each other too as coaches.
Yeah.
And so you know what to expect and what not to expect and those type of things. So that makes it very interesting for you on both sides.
We look forward to it. The great thing about the conference is that the coaching staffs are all super classy individuals, and they're doing it the right way, and they're great to compete against. And it's just whether you win or lose, you're gonna get great competition in a classy way, and we look forward to the season for sure.
All right, Coach. Well, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule here to do the show this week. And I wish you the best of luck against Fishers on Friday night. And of course, Hamilton County TV will be there broadcasting on HCTV 1. And I think maybe the weather had a little bit to do with it, but we had several viewers on Friday night.
All the way till midnight?
Yeah, all the way till midnight.
All right, good.
So that was a good thing.
Well, we appreciate your coverage as always, Perry. Go Millers.
All right, thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.